Welcome to the Top Corner Football Podcast. This is Milton. As always, I'm here with my friend and colleague, Sangu. How have you been?
I've been okay. How have you been, Milton?
I've been fine. Anything interesting you watched? Oh, I saw Weapons last week. I saw Weapons.
Ah, wonderful. And how was it?
Have you seen Sinners?
No. I couldn't. I haven't seen Sinners yet. I think that's something I should put on my watch list as well.
Oh, okay. I wanted to ask you which one you thought was better. No, I think it was Weapons was okay. It was, yeah, I don't know. I was excited when I watched it. I suddenly feel like, you know, I like watching anything with Josh Brolin in it. He's an excellent actor. And I also watched a few early 2000 movies. Equilibrium. Have you seen Equilibrium?
I mean, who hasn't seen Equilibrium? If you haven't seen Equilibrium, then you have a weird taste of movies.
You think everyone has seen Equilibrium?
Sorry?
You think Equilibrium is that big a movie?
Well, I mean, if I don't think it's as big as the other movies, but it's really a good movie, which everyone should have seen, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I saw. It's a 2003 movie, so I saw it yesterday, and the CGI is not is comic. Some of the CGI is serious.
Oh, but if you
Yeah.
like
So
Christian Bale, I mean, definitely you should have seen that movie.
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I saw Chris Equilibrium, and I also saw State of Play. Yeah, I think I enjoy State of Play more than Equilibrium because of my taste in movies. Anyway, enough about movies. Let's get back. Let's charge ahead and see what has been happening in the world of football. Is it yesterday? Yesterday, did you see a report by Crown TV, and I think it was also shared by Augustine Mukonka about Bruce Mwape not being paid?
Oh yeah, yeah. I came across it, and he was claiming that he's being owed over $84,000. That's over 2 million, right?
Yeah, 2 million, 2 million kwacha.
I saw the report, and as we've put it, like he's been owed over 2 million kwacha. I know right now Faz is constrained, but it shouldn't have come to this case. He took us to the first AFCON after a long time. He took us to 2 consecutive Olympics and a FIFA World Cup. So I think he really needs to get his dues. It was unfortunate that he had all those sexual misconduct allegations around him. We couldn't keep him for too long, but I think when it comes to his money, he worked for that money, and I hope this FAS administration now can really give him his dues. I think
I have to emphasize that the allegations leveled against him by reports by local journalists and even on the global stage by the Guardian newspaper, which followed the story for a long time. Bruce Mwape has categorically denied these allegations. So he said these are false allegations. Just to make that clear. Aside from that, Bruce Mwape also, in that report, Bruce Mwape said he did not get paid. He worked without a contract for 4 years, which is weird. He worked without a contract for 4 years, and for that period, he was only paid half the money he was owed. I don't know how they came up how much he was owed, considering he did not have a contract. Was it a verbal contract? So in that period, he said he was only given half the money, and then recently, before his departure, he was given a 2-year contract, which was $3,500 per month, and most of this money has not been paid to him. And even after, he was quietly replaced because of everything surrounding him and the pressure, because people in many quarters felt the girls were not playing the brand of football that they were capable of. He hasn't been paid. Now, this for me feeds into the problem that we've seen more often than not when it comes to how it's not just football, but how sports in general is administered, managed, if you will. You saw the story with Samukonga and his friends before they are hit. They were also going on strike, and they went on strike, and only they or threatened to go on strike. They said they wouldn't participate in the qualifying heat, and only then was money found and paid to them. So the question comes in: why weren't they paid before? And this happens over and over again.
Yeah, we've noticed that being a trend across other sports as well, and maybe football is given so much attention. That's why we even keep on hearing more stories about them from the football fraternity. But it's the same thing. I want to believe it's the same thing even in these other sports. So um, it's a national-wide program, or problem rather. It's a countrywide problem when you look at it.
So yeah, like we always say, it's quite unfortunate that athletes who should be, not who should be, rather who are the
Who
most
are
important who are the most important aspects of these competitions, events, the games itself, the games, the sports, the events do not exist without the athletes. And as I always put it, no one is once will go to the stadium to say Ndefo Kutamba, Ruben Kamanga, and Keith Mwemba. No one does that. We go to watch Pats on Dark. We turn on the TV to watch athletics because of Samukonga and his friends and his teammates. Yeah, we do not turn on the TV to watch Pondelas and these others. So it's funny that administrators will always pay themselves before they pay athletes, which is weird. We would go all day on this, but certain people have said, just do the right thing, pay these players. Last time we had the Kafafo big, very embarrassing debacle between the players and at first, because they had not been paid, and Keith Mwembo was going on saying they should be patriotic. It's not about patriotism. No one would work for nothing. And Bruce Mwape is no different. He should be. He put in his work. He can have all these issues or opinions about how his football went or the allegations, but he put in his work. Pay him his money.
Yeah, he offered a service, and that service needs to be paid for.
The MTN Super League, week 5. So number 1.
Yeah.
Let's just go through the results. You will tell me if I've missed any one of the results. So on Saturday we saw Musa FC lose their first game in Mazabuka 1-0 to Mufulira Wanderers. Then in Lusaka, Konkola Blades picked up a vital victory at Edwin Imbola Stadium when they beat Zesco United Quasi Football Club, High Flying Quasi Football Club, 1-0. Kansanshi Dynamos lost again at home, this time in Solwezi, to Green Eagles Football Club. Capo Warriors beat GBFC at Rail Grounds 1-0. And then on Sunday, we saw Ghana yet again lose to Zanaco at home. Then Napsa Stars beat Mines United. Mines United still looking for their first win. They still only have 1 point on the board. Another Cowboy team, Leopards, also still looking for a win. Drew 1-1 with Motondo Stars, who got their first win last week. So these are the results. You watched the games that were televised live.
Oh yeah,
Which one?
I had the
Which one piqued your interest? Yeah.
I think both games were interesting despite them not having a lot of goals. But I think the Nkana Zanaco match tops my list between those two because there was a lot of action in that match, despite it also not producing so many goals. And I've noticed this is a weird thing that has happened this weekend in Game 5. No, there isn't a team that managed to score 2 goals. It was either a game was won by 1-0, by a goal to nil, or maybe it was a 1-1 draw or a 0-0 draw. So it's quite
In
concerning
fact,
when you look at that goal convention rate is very bad.
game that had more than 1 goal is FC Leopards today and Motondo Stars, who drew 1-1. So the rest of the games just had 1 goal in each of them.
Yeah, that's very boring. But anyway, going back to the match, the Nkana Zanaco match. First of all, I'll never stop talking about the quality of the games being shown. It was very funny that a live stream by P.Dynamos had better picture quality than the games that were being shown on Topstar. I know Topstar can improve going forward. We've got hope in them. So now, some funny statistics is that Zanaco has always been dominant against Nkana, yeah? So like this was their 6th win from the last 10 games that these guys have made. And the worrying thing as well is that Nkana couldn't convert most of their chances that they had. They controlled the game in the first half, and then in the second half again, Zanaco just had one chance, and Lambert found the back of the net and defended the entire game, and that's how they picked up their win and continued their unbeaten record.
Okay, so Zanaco defended throughout the rest of the game.
Up a red card in the 62nd minute, and they had to defend the rest of the match. They were hanging on to that 1-0 goal. Now, going to the other game between Cabo Warriors and Green Buffaloes, Cabo Warriors is another team that hasn't lost any game from the 5 matches they've played. But it's really worrying when you look at their setup. I mean, this is 2025 and they've got Seth Sakala as one of their dependable forwards. It tells you a lot. They've only managed to score in 2 goals, and these 2 goals have come from Francis Banda, who's now like the main or go-to guy for goals. Now, here's the thing about Cabo Warriors, right? I think their defensive setup is okay with Kilian Nkanguluma leading that, but that will eventually crumble. Because you could see in the game they were playing against Green Buffaloes that Francis Banda was the most creative forward they had. And the moment they played a few minutes in the second half, his juice went down, his drive went down, his energy went down, and you couldn't see anything going forward from Cabo Warriors. So that's also another worry about the blue faithfuls of Cabo.
Zanaco shot to the top of the table. They are now sitting pretty on top. having. And the other thing is, they haven't scored more than one goal in any of their any of their matches, and any of their 5 matches. In fact, they've drawn twice. I think one of them was a goalless draw. The other one was a one-or draw. And the games they've won, the 3 they've won, have been all 1-0 scorelines. And I think Lambert has scored most of their goals, which is weird. Which is very weird. Uh, so it seems defensive stability is paramount more than anything in the MTN Super League this season. And then in the same game, Ghana lost the game. This is only their second loss after they lost last week as well to Cabo Warriors at Royal Grounds 1-0 as well. But they are now rooted to they are bottom 2 because the only game they won, those points were taken out. Alright.
Oh yeah. It was early on this past weekend on a Monday that
The decision came
the
through.
Zambian Premier, yeah, the decision rather came through to Dr. Points. That it's tied to one player, Nduna. It's alleged that he wasn't registered actually.
Is it
Well,
alleged?
the thing is that
Nkana confirmed and accepted the decision.
no. On the contrary, they denied, saying that error wasn't on their end, and they put the blame on the FAS registration system. They said
So have they appealed the
they should
decision?
have. They said they would appeal. So I want to believe by now they should have appealed that decision, because they firmly came out and said it was probably a glitch in the FAS registration system. With them, they did their part, and the player, according to them, was registered.
So there is a possibility that they can win over appeal, and the points could be handed back. To them. Right.
Yeah. But that's another possibility. But I'm just praying. I really pray that decision is, or that case rather, is dealt with and closed in good time. We don't want a situation where when the league goes towards the end, and then those decisions will be made, and they would, they would tilt the table to, or rather they would play a huge part in a big decision that would come up towards the end of the league.
Even if and even mid-season, that decision could have huge repercussions on maybe who qualifies or who doesn't qualify to the APSA Cup. All things considered.
Yes.
So I do agree with you. That needs to be ironed out quickly. We've had several situations in which these decisions have been made late. Next we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches. We only have 7 matches instead of 9, and this is because our CAF envoys, representatives, pallbearers, torch bearing teams in the CAF competitions, which are P.Dynamos and Zesco United, played their matches over the weekend. Yeah, so P.Dynamos won their game in Ndola 1-0, and there's been a lot of excitement surrounding that. Did you watch the game?
I did watch the game in parts. I wouldn't say I watched it in full, because it was being played at the same time with the Cabo Warriors match. So I knew to say I would probably go back and watch the repeat, because I know the P.Dynamos match was being streamed live on the Facebook at some point. But surprisingly, when I woke up on a Sunday, I found the link gone. So I'm not sure if it had to do with copyrights, or the match wasn't being recorded. I'm not too sure, so I couldn't really go back and watch it.
All
Watch
right.
the 90 minutes.
So
Yeah.
they won 1-0, and they carried this one slender and possibly dangerous scoreline back to when they travel to Abidjan next week. What do you think of their chances? Can they progress?
Well, I think that's a slender advantage they have there, but I would have been very comfortable, or I would have preferred it if they scored two more goals and probably had like a 3-0 or 4-0 scoreline. Going to Ivory Coast or Abidjan with that slender lead is a huge risk on their part, but I think I still have hope they can pull through. If they can score an early goal, or rather avoid them conceding an early goal in Egypt or in Ivory Coast, maybe, just maybe, they do have a chance to pull this through.
I'm not so sure. My experience watching Zambian teams when they go away and they have to pick up a draw, not not so rosy. Not so rosy. I'm not sure. I think they should have taken a comfortable win. Obviously, they can try to, because it's all about game management. When it comes to these things, how you manage games, can you frustrate the opponents? Can you quieten the crowd? And that's something I've noticed that Zambian coaches are not good at doing. Over the time, I saw
Yeah, that's true.
Numba Mumamba fail with Zanaco. Is it 2016? I saw, not 2016, maybe 2018. Chicken George suffer the same tragedy when they played 2016 in the CAF semi-final. They don't know when to twist or turn, yeah? Stick or twist, yeah. So I'm a bit worried about that. I wouldn't be so sure. In the other match, Zesco United went down 2-0 to Football Club Canon 105 in Gabon. Is it the end of the road? Is this the end of the road for for Zesco United?
And surprisingly, these two matches turned out to be the opposite, because initially I thought Zesco would have an easy route, and like their opponents obviously are not as tough as P.Dynamos opponents, right? And it was surprisingly that Zesco suffered a 2-0 loss away. But when you look at the goals that they conceded, it was it was very surprising. Like you'd find an experienced defender like Kabaso Chongo being flat-footed. The first goal, he misses a ball, and the FC 101 striker finds the back of the net, and the other one, obviously, their goalkeeper was flat-footed. He was scored from a distance. Now, numbers don't lie, and this is how I feel about this game. Quite alright. Zesco wasn't entirely suppressed. These both teams were going at each other. And now the problem I have is that when you look at the record, Zesco has actually never overturned a 2-0 defeat in the CAF competitions. So I honestly, and I strongly feel that this is the end of the road for Zesco, and it's really unfortunate because they seem to have a very, very easy path. But if they can turn things around, then definitely they can reach the group stage. But right now, looking at the numbers and seeing the way they played, I don't think they'll overturn the 2-0 scoreline.
I feel like Zesco has a lot of quality. in terms of players. The players they've recruited, I think they have a lot of quality. I think they have the quality in the team to turn it around. But the problem they have is the club is in a state of, is it flux or confusion? Because they are not even settled on who should be coach and who shouldn't be coach. All that it's like there's a lot of mayhem surrounding the club. So under normal circumstances, if they maybe had a settled technical bench, a well laid out plan for how they want to approach the season, maybe even this deficit, this 2-0 deficit against this team from Gabon, I feel like they could overturn it. But maybe because of all the confusion surrounding the team, from the Mao registration of players to confusion of over the coach, this is our coach, this is our coach. Maybe the chickens are coming to roost, and with this result, maybe being kicked out of the CAF competition is the child conceived of that confusion.
Yeah, so enough of the local front. We can move overseas and check out what our young lads playing in Europe and across the Middle East doing. This week, or this past weekend, was actually a very good weekend for our young lads because most of them scored. So we saw a brace from Kingston Mutandwa and Songa Chipioka, and also Chanka Zimba got off the mark and found the back of the net. Would you lead us? Would you say a bit about that?
Yeah. So just to kick this off, number one, I think we saw Frankie Musonda, who was when the last national team was named coach, had not played for some time, and we had questions how will he come in, and ultimately didn't play any part in that game against Morocco because obviously he wasn't fit. But we saw him start for his new club in Bahrain soccer club. So, but he played his first game, so that is encouraging because we need all our players playing and in form. And as we've seen, he's been very key for the time he's been with the national team. The other thing, the other player I wanted to mention before we talk about all these kids scoring goals is Benson Sakala. I wanted to mention him because for the last 2, maybe 3 years, he's probably been one of the most consistent players who's constantly played. He's playing in the Czech league. It's not an easy league. We see some of the best players in the world coming from that league. And Benson Sakala has been playing consistently. Before last season, he was with Mlada Bolosov, and he was a constant in their starting teams. And this season he's moved to Bohemians 1905, and he's been starting again. He was part of the team that won 2-0 today. So that is very interesting. And obviously because of this, his consistency, we saw him start for Zambia just recently. So that is a very encouraging prospect as well.
Yeah, that's very encouraging, because I think Benson Sakala is like one of those unsung heroes in the national team, especially when you look at it. He's been able to come in and just cover up where there have been gaps, especially in the defense and the defensive midfield. And you see that a lot of people actually haven't paid attention to him and noticed that he's really been the most consistent player that we've had in the national team.
Yeah, for his club. I'm not sure about how he plays when he plays for the national team, but for his club, I think he's been consistent. and he's earned his
Yeah, I
place.
meant.
So yeah.
Thanks for the correction there, but I meant him being consistent at his clubs he's played for, and also coming into to fit into the national team when there's a gap need.
Yeah, true. And as we have seen with certain players, it's not easy playing for your club consistently. You spoke of Songa Chipioka, who was on the bench. He was unavailable last week. He probably had a knock, but he came off the bench and he was faced for his team, Petakeo Tikva, and they were away to Emmanuel Banda's Kabi Benai, and the young prodigy scored twice when he came on, one from the spot and another open play goal in a huge win for his team. He's gone up the team got promoted last year, and it seems like Sonka Chipioka has leveled up to the league and is performing well. That is now 3 goals and an assist in 4 matches. In 4 matches as well. Elsewhere in Scotland, we saw Chanka Zimba get off the mark in the league. He scored his second goal, and I think this is his first start in the league for Inverness Caledonian Thistle. So what we have to know is that Inverness has been experiencing a lot of financial trouble, and it came to a head last year. When they were demoted and going into the administration, and they were further sanctioned by a 4 or 5 points deduction. So they are second right now in the Scottish League One, but they've won all their games and they have 10 points, which means they could have had 15 points and could be top of the league. So that is what is happening with Chanka Zimba, if you remember, last year was called to the under 20 for the under 20 Africa, but couldn't turn up because of scheduling issues. He's expressed his desire to play for the national team, and you would hope after his various moves around England that maybe Inverness is the place where, because he started this match and he scored within 9 matches, you would hope this is where he really kicks on and starts the league. The same thing we're saying about Jacqueline last week. So he's stressed to play for the national team. Lastly, we saw Kingston Mutandwa scored two goals. Brest, unfortunately, they couldn't beat Austria Vienna, which is one of the biggest teams in the Austrian Bundesliga. He scored two early goals in the first half, but Austria Vienna turned it around and won 3-2. That is 3 goals and an assist for the young boy.
Yeah, and I think this is what we've been preaching about for a long time on this podcast. We were actually happy to see Kingston Mutandwa move to Austria. We're equally happy to see Miguel Chaiwa move to Scotland despite them losing
It was
against
a huge
Rangers.
match. It was a huge match.
Yeah. So the whole idea is that now we're seeing our boys getting more game time, and that's good. And the thing is that these moves that these guys have made, if you've noticed, they've moved straight into the first line, into the first team
Team.
rather, and and they're starting most of their matches except for Joseph Sabobo. I think it's starting to. I'm starting to get a bit worried because he's missing out in most of these games. So I don't really know what's going on there. But generally, most of our lads are playing now, and it's quite good.
Yeah, true. So anyway, think we can wrap it up here. We will see what the week has for us. Obviously on Monday, United, that's Ricky Chan and Benjamin Salah will be in action, and people will be able to follow the match and the results on the Football Connect Facebook page, TikTok, all the usual places. Okay, I think this is bye. Unless Mr. Sango has anything more to add.
No, just Sangu, man. I'm not yet a Mister. Keep those formalities to yourself.
What do you
Keep
mean you're
those
not?
formalities to
Should
keep those
should I call you a
formalities to yourself.
Mister or a Mrs.?
Why are you gay?
Good night. Bye.
All right. Good night.